Okay, so we're diving into some Hollywood gossip today. Remember all those rumors about Ellen DeGeneres and Diddy's, like, freak-off parties? The ones that had everyone wondering if daytime Ellen had, like, a secret wild side?
Yeah.
We're going to unpack all of that today. You sent on this segment from Real Talk with Lady T.
Yeah.
And I got to admit, even I was kind of surprised by this stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing how these rumors can, like, make you question everything you thought you knew about someone.
Yeah.
Especially someone like Ellen. You know, she's built her entire brand on being the queen of nice.
Right, like be kind by day and then party animal by night. It's crazy. The podcast hosts Lady T and Mr. T, terrific. They did a great job of breaking it all down. Apparently it all started when some old clips of Ellen and Diddy together resurfaced online, and then bam, the internet just exploded with speculation about her possible connection to these super secretive parties.
And Diddy's freak-off parties are legendary. It's not just your average Hollywood get-together. We're talking A-list celebrities.
Right.
Wild behavior and a level of secrecy that would make the CIA jealous. The podcast hosts basically paint this picture of, like, a whole other side of Hollywood, one that most of us never get to see.
Yeah, totally. And it plays right into that fascination we all have with the hidden lives of celebrities. It's like we're obsessed with finding out who they really are when the cameras are off and the PR team isn't around. Like, we love the curated image.
Yeah.
But we're even more intrigued by the possibility that it's all a facade. It's like a real-life Truman Show.
Yeah.
So
it's more than just curiosity, though. Think about it. Like, why do we get so caught up in these stories? Why do we care so much about what celebrities do in their private lives?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, what do you think is going on there?
I think it's a combination of things. You know, part of it is that inherent human need to unravel a mystery. We love to peek behind the curtain to see if the person behind the mask matches the image we've created in our minds. It's the same reason we're drawn to true crime documentaries or celebrity scandals. We're trying to understand the darker, more complex side of human nature.
Right. But there's also something about celebrities specifically, right? It's like they hold this special place in our culture.
Absolutely. We build them up, put them on pedestals, and then when they do something that contradicts that idealized image, we feel betrayed, almost like we've been lied to. And that feeling can be so powerful that it leads us to tear them down just as quickly as we built them up. It's a vicious cycle.
Oh, and social media just throws gasoline on that fire,
Yeah.
like Lady T pointed out. The internet had a field day with this whole thing. Jokes, memes, Party Girl Ellen, hashtags. It was everywhere. It's almost like we can't resist the temptation to pile on.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to someone who's been held up as a symbol of goodness.
It's like this collective need to bring them back down to earth.
Yeah.
To remind ourselves that they're not perfect, that they're just as flawed as the rest of us, which you know is true, but are we maybe holding them to an impossible standard?
That's what makes this whole situation with Ellen even more interesting. Remember, it wasn't that long ago that she faced those accusations about, like, a toxic work environment. Her whole be kind image took a major hit, and her reputation hasn't fully recovered.
Right. And as Lady T and Mr. T-rific discuss, this new association with Diddy's parties could do even more damage.
Yeah, it adds another layer to this whole public perception puzzle. It makes you wonder, can Ellen ever truly shake off that be kind persona? Even if she wanted to, you know?
It's like she's trapped by her own image. And now with these party rumors swirling around, it just makes that gap between perception and reality even wider.
Exactly. And this brings up another point that Lady T made, this idea that maybe Ellen is going through some kind of midlife or even late life crisis.
No, interesting. So it's not just about her being two-faced, but maybe about her trying to figure out who she is outside of that daytime TV persona.
Yeah.
Like a whole other side of her.
It's a possibility, right? Maybe she's feeling stifled, like she needs to break free from those expectations that have been placed on her for so long. Yeah, I can see that. It's like she spent decades building this empire of niceness, and now she's wondering if there's more to life than just being Ellen DeGeneres.
And that's a question we can all relate to, even if we're not, you know, famous talk show hosts. Who are we beyond the roles we play? The images we project to the world? Are we allowed to evolve, to change, to explore different sides of ourselves?
Whoa. Deep thoughts, man.
Yeah.
But so true. We all wear masks to some extent, right? Whether it's at work or on social media, or even with our own families.
Exactly. And sometimes we get so used to wearing those masks that we forget who we are underneath. So maybe in a weird way, Ellen's situation is like a reflection of something we all struggle with, this desire to be authentic, to break free from the expectations that define us.
Okay, that's making my brain hurt a little bit, but in a good way. But here's another question. Does any of this actually matter? I mean, yeah, it's fun to gossip about celebrities,
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, it's their private life.
That's the tricky part. On the one hand, you could argue that it's none of our business. But on the other hand, celebrities have a unique power and influence. They shape our culture. They sell us products. They inspire us. They disappoint us.
Right, and that's what makes their private lives so fascinating,
Yeah,
because it can affect how we perceive them and their work.
absolutely. Think about it this way. If you found out your favorite author was secretly a jerk, would it change how you felt about their books? Or if you discovered that, like, a beloved musician had a dark past, would it taint their music for you?
Those are tough questions.
Eh.
I mean, ideally, we should be able to separate the art from the artist,
Yeah.
but it's not always that easy.
And in Ellen's case, it's even more complicated because her whole brand is so intertwined with her personal life. She built an empire on being relatable, kind, and approachable. So when those values are called into question, it undermines everything she's built.
Yeah, it's like that saying, with great power comes great responsibility. Celebrities have this huge platform,
Yeah.
but it comes at the price of being constantly under the microscope.
And that microscope is getting more and more powerful thanks to social media. Like we talked about earlier, it's a double-edged sword. It gives celebrities a direct connection with their fans, but it also opens them up to a whole new level of scrutiny and judgment.
And it's not just celebrities, right?
Yeah.
Social media has turned all of us into like mini celebrities in a way. We're constantly curating our online personas, trying to present the best version of ourselves.
And just like celebrities, we're vulnerable to the same kind of judgment and criticism. It's like this whole culture of call out and cancel culture is making us all walk on eggshells, afraid to show our true selves for fear of being attacked.
You know, that's a really good point. It kind of circles back to what we were talking about earlier, this fear of not living up to expectations, of not being perfect. Maybe we're all a little bit two-faced in a way, trying to present the best version of ourselves to the world.
That's a powerful insight. And maybe, just maybe, that's what makes Ellen's story so relatable. Whether we admit it or not, we're all grappling with these same questions of identity, authenticity, and the pressure to conform to societal expectations.
And now I'm wondering,
Yeah.
if maybe this whole situation, regardless of whether the rumors are true or not, could be like a catalyst for a bigger conversation about how we treat celebrities, about the pressure we put on each other to be perfect, about how we navigate this increasingly complex world of image and reality.
I love that idea. Maybe this is an opportunity for us to be more mindful, more compassionate, more understanding, not just towards celebrities, but towards each other.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Okay, I need a minute to process all this. It's like we went from gossip to deep philosophical insights in the blink of an eye.
That's the beauty of a good deep dive, isn't it? We start with something seemingly superficial and end up uncovering layers of meaning that we never expected.
So much to think about. But I think I've caught my breath.
Yeah, me too.
After that whirlwind of ideas. But before we get too lost in the weeds, I do want to circle back to something that Lady T and Mr. Terrific mentioned in the podcast.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
That whole concept of two-facedness in Hollywood.
Right.
It's like they're saying there's this inherent disconnect between the image celebrities project and who they really are behind closed doors.
Yeah, and that's not a new phenomenon, right?
Oh, not at all.
I mean, think about all the classic Hollywood scandals throughout history. The hidden affairs, the secret vices, the carefully crafted public personas that just crumble under scrutiny. It's like a tale as old as time.
So true. And like they pointed out, social media has just taken that whole dynamic to a whole new level.
Oh, absolutely. Now it's not just studio executives and publicists controlling the narrative. It's celebrities themselves curating their online presence, filtering their life through carefully chosen photos, and perfectly worded captions.
Right. So you never really know what's genuine
Yeah.
and what's just part of the performance.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like we're all playing this game of social media smoke and mirrors, trying to present the most idealized version of ourselves.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that's part of why this whole Ellen situation has resonated with so many people. It taps into this collective anxiety we all have about authenticity and image management.
Right.
So circling back to where we started, what do we make of these rumors about Ellen and Diddy's parties?
Well, the truth is we may never know the full story. And maybe that's okay. Maybe the lesson here isn't about uncovering every detail of Ellen's private life.
That's a good point. So what is the lesson then?
I think it's a reminder that everyone, even celebrities, deserves a certain level of privacy and respect. You know, we can be curious, we can analyze, but ultimately we need to remember that there's a human being behind the headlines.
Right. And that judging someone based on rumors and speculation is never fair.
Exactly. We should be careful about jumping to conclusions, especially when we only have a fraction of the information.
It's like that classic saying, don't believe everything you read on the internet,
Words to live by.
especially in the age of social media.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious,
Yeah.
what's your final takeaway for our listeners?
I think the biggest takeaway is the importance of critical thinking and empathy. Don't just accept everything you see and hear at face value. Dig a little deeper. Consider different perspectives and remember that everyone, even celebrities, deserves to be treated with respect.
That's a great point to end on. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Yeah, it was my pleasure.
And to all of you listening, we hope this has sparked some interesting thoughts about celebrity culture and public perception, and the importance of critical thinking. Until next time, stay curious,